Hello, online crew. How's everybody going? I get in trouble for saying going. Apparently, that's a very Australian thing. Anyway, how are you? I got some really cool information for you today, and it's not mine. Okay. This is just something I wanted to pass on to you guys that I listened to just very, very recently. Like in the last few hours, really. Like I changed my mind on what I was going to talk about because we are getting bombarded with information. Bombarded. Like, is your email clogged up with every second email title is a coronavirus? Social media is full of it. News is full of it. Like, we can't escape this. And you're probably sick of hearing about it in one respect. But occasionally there's somebody that comes along and gives some really good advice. So I consider what I'm going to share with you on today's live exactly that. And I wanted to share it with you guys because I was listening to this mentor of mine going, that makes a hell of a lot of sense. He's been through it before. He's been through many crises before. He's been an entrepreneur for like 20, 30 years, seen all this before with 9/11 and the 2008 and 9, crash and speaking from experience. And I thought this is information that actually makes sense. And this is useful information rather than so many people trying to capitalize on the crisis that we're having at the moment, giving out crap information. So I thought it was really useful. So I thought I'd pass it on to you. Okay. So I got lots of notes that I wrote down from this information. So I'm basically going to refer to the notes throughout it because this is not my information, but I thought it was good. So for what it is, take what you will from it. But for what it is, I thought it was quite useful advice in a time where we don't know who to listen to. We're not quite sure where to turn or what choices to make, how it's affecting our industry. You know, there's lots of people saying there's massive opportunity and there's other people saying, oh, the economy is going to crash. So which one is it? And just taking a, really rational, calm perspective on it. Does that make sense, guys? So, I hope this will give you good food for thought. It definitely did me. Okay. Before I get onto the content, I hope you're doing okay. Like, I just really seriously hope you're doing okay. You're not buying into the chaos. You took on board what I said yesterday about being calm, being a leader, entrepreneurs are built for this kind of stuff. This is where you either shine or you crumble. So this is where we need to step up to the plate, take a higher ground and, just try to be problem solvers rather than buy into the chaos of what everybody's feeling, at the moment. I'm not trying to sugarcoat or degrade anything that's going on at the moment, but we just need to be level-headed, guys, don't we? Okay. Now, a couple of quick things before I go into the content. Those of you that are doing the video challenge, you're in the middle of the video challenge and you're not letting this affect you and you are going on. Absolute credit to you guys. Life still needs to go on. We still need to do the things that we need to do and your business goes on. And if you suddenly stop your business, then you're going to wear the fallout for that. So those of you continuing on with the video challenge, you guys rock. Okay. Secondly, the VIP Mentorship Program, if you need more one-on-one help, well, in a small group setting of looking at your work, analyzing your work, your Facebook ads, your funnels, your whatever it is that you're working with, and you want a mentor by your side, me, month by month, to move your business, grow forward. And those of you that have already joined the mentorship program, I want to talk about all this kind of stuff that I'm talking about today deeper with you guys on our first call. I think that's next week. Okay, but I'm closing the doors. I don't care how many are in there, even if I haven't reached the number that I want, I'm closing the doors on Friday. I just want to work with those people that are serious about making a difference in their business and getting results. So whatever the number is, I'm just closing the doors on Friday. So whoever's in now, you're set. Anyone else that wants to join us and really speed up the results of your business, you got to get in by Friday because I don't care how many are or are not in there. I'm closing the doors. Okay. I really just want to work with those guys that are serious and give you guys the attention that you guys want to really get results. Okay. Now, the day one of the email marketing bootcamp is today. Like, it's less than 45 minutes time. I'm starting day one of the email marketing bootcamp. I would highly suggest that you, especially in this environment, guys, you've got to connect with people, build relationships, offer them solutions to their problems, communicate, and build relationships. Do you have an email list? Are you building an email list? Do you solely rely on Facebook? If you solely rely on Facebook, what happens if your Facebook page gets shut down completely? community. You can't play on Facebook anymore. What happens to your business or your connections? So if you're in the coaching community, join us. If you can't join us, catch the recordings. That's what the recordings are there for. You don't have to join me live. It's just more fun when I've got you guys on live. Those of you that want to get, but it's only being delivered in my coaching community. Those of you that want to get into my coaching community, there is a link up above. You can join for $1 for a 3-day trial. Don't skimp on this kind of stuff. In this day and age in 2020, you need to learn how to grow your businesses. Okay, off my horse. How are we? Let me say hello to a few people. I am mindful of the time because I do have the boot camp, so I won't ramble today. Hello, Gloria. How are you? Good to see you on. We've got Crystal here. How are you? Hello, Olive. How are you? We've got Janet. We got Mel. We got Michael. High five, everyone. Good morning, Cynthia. How are you? Not quite sure who that is. If you know you've said hello to me and you look like that, it means you're watching from my group. So I'm broadcasting in 2 places at once, my business page and my free group. So it's either my Helen Martin business page, which I can see all of you, or if you're in my group called Social Media Strategies for Home Business Owners, free group for everybody wanting to know more about this kind of stuff that we talk about. You need to click on the very bottom link in the description up above the video, which is the StreamYard/Facebook link, and then I can see who you are, okay? Good morning, Patricia. How are you? Crystal is doing awesome. So am I. So good to see you on. Hello, Mel. How are you? Thanks in advance. No worries. Laurie, how are you? Paige, good to see you on. Jacinta, how are you? Lovely to see you here. Thank you. Busy learning the boot camp. Absolutely. Yes, life is no different. We've got to carry on, guys. We just have to. Hi, Judy and Bob. How are you? Lynn, excited about the email boot camp. It's a skill that you will be able to build on in your entrepreneurial journey. So we're going to start that journey today, Olive, although I think you're already collecting emails, but we'll strengthen that. Hey, Jackie, how are you? Looking forward to it. So I'm not sure who's saying this, but hi, Helen. Yes, thank you for your words yesterday. True value, and I've shared with my team and co-workers today. Good. I sent a positive email to our supply chain today at my day job. Good. We are in the beverage industry, and some are forgetting the supply chain to get the consumer the products in the store. Yeah, and that's something that I want to raise today as well. Like there is fallout. You can't escape it. There is fallout everywhere of what's going on here. Supply chains are one of those. There are people in the online world in e-commerce and Amazon and stuff like that sell actual physical products that can't get products. So sales are going through the roof. Like you think of things like sanitizer. Like people are going online to buy things that they can't get in the store, but now they can't get supplied because the stocks aren't coming out of China, and it's just chaos. So we have to manage this kind of stuff, which what I'm going to share with you today is 7 important lessons from this mentor of mine about how to deal with this crisis. So I hope you get something, out of this. And those of you in my mentorship group, the VIP one, the new one, we need to dig deeper in this. So we will, okay, because you guys need to be at the forefront of the opportunity with this, okay? Hey, Abby, how are you? Hey, Megan, we got Rose. Funny, we will be all there for 3 days as everything is cancelled. Yeah, there's nothing else you can do, Judy and Bob, so spend 3 days with me in the email boot camp. Oh, it's Monica. So you must have lost access because you've been here before, Monica. So you just need to click that link up in StreamYard. Might be difficult to join the boot camp as I've got little one at home. It just have me on in the background, have earphones on, Jackie. Kids are welcome. Like, no, don't take this the wrong way, but just don't use that as an excuse, okay? You can listen to me and look after your child at the same time. It's no brainer. What you missed, you can go back and watch the replay. Hey, Jen, how are you? We do need to take this seriously, but not with fear, but with knowledge and appropriate action. Thank you, Judy and Bob. Very level-headed approach there. Love that kind of, perspective on it. Aussie companies are also supplying. China isn't the only one country supplying anymore. Exactly. And there's like this mayhem in the shops. There's no indication that anybody was ever going to run out of toilet paper. Like the supplier didn't go, we can't get XYZ from China, so we're going to have a shortage. It was the media that caused that. So there are all these people buying things that we were never going to run out of anyway. But there are other things that are going to be impacted, including maybe supplies from your business. If you have physical products attached to your network marketing business or direct sales business or whatever it is, you may be impacted. Products may be delivered slower. So we just don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. That's the thing. Oh, all good, Monica. Yeah, I'm not sure. Occasionally that happens. Like Gloria had to do it about 5 or 6 times minimum before StreamYard went, okay, we accept you. So sometimes it happens. I'm not sure why, but you're back now. Always listen and work. Beautiful. I'm listening and watching while making my kids smoothies and washing dishes. That's what we like to see. I listen to a lot of trainings while I'm doing other things. So let me get onto the content because I do have the boot camp to move on to. So where this comes from, as I said, this is not my information. One of the guys that I absolutely have a lot of respect for and basically coined and just created the word attraction marketing is a guy by the name of Mike Dillard. Amazing entrepreneur. Okay. He started out sort of in the network marketing industry and then worked out, I don't want to do this. I don't want to approach my family and friends. I don't want to, Harley, why does he do that while I'm going live? That's disgusting. Sorry, he's just at my feet and he just let one go and whoo, that's overpowering. Anyway, squirrel. I need a little fan or something. That's so off-putting. Sorry, guys. So he wanted to do it another way, and so he basically created what we know now as attraction marketing. Okay. Now, Mike has grown into what was in his book? It was 60 million, wasn't it, or something, guys? I've talked about this before. He made 60 million. I probably won't find it now, but $60 million in a few years or something like that. Just amazing entrepreneur. So he has brought out this training yesterday that talked about 7 important lessons every entrepreneur needs to know in a crisis, because he's been there and done that. He's been through crises and not survived them because he was concentrating on the wrong things. And he's been through other crises that he was learnt from his mistakes, from things like 9/11, wasn't prepared for that, and his business did dismally. And then, other things came along that were financial crisis and stuff like that, and he was more prepared and he made a lot of money. So his point, and you will hear a lot of gurus say there is a massive opportunity in times of crisis. So take these 7 points for what they are. They're coming from Mike. They're not coming from me. And I respect every word that he says. And he's, multiple millionaire, like 60 times over, more than, and very, very wise things to say. So listen up, okay? So I'm going to look down at my notes because I can't remember everything that he said. But he's basically saying events like this will either make you or break you. They can either destroy your business because you're either ignoring it and it's like, it'll be okay, and it's actually not going to be okay. And he's basically saying we actually don't know. We don't know if this is going to blow over sooner than we think. We don't know if it's still going to get worse before it's better. Like, none of us actually know. So important to realize that if you ignore it, then you could be being really naive. So you could be thinking really positively about it, which is awesome. But if you actually sort of ignore it, then you may not be making the decisions that you need to be making now to protect yourself. Okay. So the whole fear thing, he did reiterate, which we know, guys, when people are living in fear, they do nothing, which may impact you. Because people won't potentially want to join you in your business. They may not want to put an order in for products if you've got physical products like they do every month, because they're scared. They're worried. People in fear don't make the right decisions. People in fear just don't spend money because they're worried about the fallout. They're worried about their jobs potentially, or income, or wages not, coming because they're going to get less hours if they've got traditional work and stuff like that. So it does halt the economy basically. So be very aware of that, you could have had a business that's doing really well and it may not through all of this. Like, it's just the reality of where we're at. So we just have to be realistic. It may have an impact on your business. Although in this online world, and I'll get to this, he's saying most crises like this have massive opportunity. So that's what you want to tap into. So I'll get to that in a second, okay? And, he did also reiterate, you will be fine. You will be fine. You'll just be wiser. You'll be smarter. You'll be prepared for the next time, because there will be a next time. There will always be something. We've already had it. We've had 9/11, we've had the swine flu, we've had financial crises. We've had things that people have lived through before, and it will be okay. So everything will be okay. But what are you doing right now? So this is where he gets into his sort of 7 points. So it's like, let's start with what we know now. So what we know now is that we are in a massive crisis around the world. Things are shutting down to try to slow down the virus. Supply chains are potentially compromised and interrupted. Things won't arrive on time. Things won't, you'll run out of things like toilet paper and hand sanitizer and things like that. There are travel restrictions. Like, there is a lot of things that we do know. But with that becomes a lot of fear, and there's a lot of things we actually don't know. So we have to... we have to recognize that whatever your perspective is on it, you really don't know. You don't know the outcome of this. None of us do. It's impossible for anybody to predict how far, how long. We don't know whether we're dealing with this for 3 months, 6 months, or potentially a year. We might get over the virus, but then we might have a massive economic downturn and, a global crisis financially, those kind of things. So we just don't know. Okay, so obviously we accept that. 2 things to focus on. 1, you've got time at the moment to rationalize, plan, and make really good decisions. So time is on your side at the moment. So time is a good thing that you've got, but emotions are your enemy. Emotions are when you're buying into the media and doing irrational, shops at the supermarket and stuff like that. Making decisions on emotion will cause more chaos. So he's saying you should have on the forefront of your mind that you do have time to plan and think. It's not like right now we need to make emotional decisions. That's the worst thing that you could do. So let's just stop for a minute and take a check-in. So his number 1 of 7 is, what is your bias? So what he means by that is how are you thinking and actually absorbing what's going on at the moment? So 2 ways that you could be thinking with that. You are buying into the panic. You're really worried. You're really stressed. Your anxiety levels are up. Like, you're panicking about what's happening at the moment. That's one way. The other way is you're like, it'll pass. Life goes on, and you're doing everything normal to what you would normally do. And you've got a really positive outlook, and you just believe everything will be okay. He said either way has its downfalls, and we need to plan for both. So obviously being really panicky and chaotic and having massive anxiety about it is not a good place to make decisions. But being really super positive about it and having the opinion, it'll blow over, it'll be fine, that's also a little bit naive, because you don't know that. None of us know that. Like, we need to plan for the fact that what if this lasts for 6 months or a year? Like, we need to take a check-in and be responsible. Even if you're a positive thinker, like, what's your bias? Because your bias will determine your decisions in your business and your life at the moment. So number 1 is checking in with your bias. Which way are you swinging in relation to you being very anxious and stressed about it, or being so positive that you may not be thinking like you should be thinking, okay? Because nobody knows what's going to happen. So he's saying you should have a game plan for 3 options. So your game plan should either like cover a best scenario, a bad scenario, or the worst scenario. So plan for all of them. So best scenario, what can you capitalize on? The opportunities that are in front of you, how you can maximize, things like that. A bad situation, okay, this may not be good, but if we adjust things here, this is what we can do. And the worst situation, like you are financially strapped and it's getting worse, what do we need to do? Either way, you should have a contingency plan for three of those ways, is what he's saying. If you don't, you're burying your head in the sand and you're being naive to what's going on around the world right now. So this is about really having a high level of awareness and planning. Okay, so number 1 is what's your bias, because that's going to affect your decisions. And if you're really emotionally strung about this, not a good place to be to make decisions. So realize what your bias is. Just take a check-in. Which way are you swaying? Okay, and then taking a check-in with that and planning for best scenario, a bad scenario, and the worst scenario, okay? So things like assessing your financial situation. So number 1, we're checking in with our bias. Number 2 is planning. Like, really seriously planning for those 3 obstacles. What's your financial situation now? How are you standing now? Is this going to affect you, or is your online business so booming that it's not going to affect you? Okay, so check in now. What does happen if there's a downturn here? Where am I at financially? Is this going to affect my business potentially? Am I going to get less sales in the next 6 months to a year if it lasts that long? You need to have contingency plans and planning for it, and not letting it creep up on you. If this is going to have an impact on you financially, if you're not getting the hours at work because the doors are closed, how long can you last until your savings run out? Think about that now. Plan for it now. What expenses can you cut out? What things are not absolutely necessary, optional spending that you can cut out? Like, actually plan for, worst case scenario, so you don't get there and then you are in extremes and dire straits and life is suddenly taking a very anxious turn. Okay, so number 2 is planning. Number 3, seizing the opportunity. So he's saying disruption creates opportunity. And he said the things that came out of 2008, 2009 crash things, and he listed a whole lot of them. I was going to go back and listen to it and I got distracted. Things like Uber and Slack. Slack's a sort of software program. Like there's businesses that are booming today that all came out of the 2008, 2009 crash. So he said there's massive opportunity that comes out of these kind of occasions. So where is your thinking and what are you doing about it? Find those customers that are affected and show them empathy and give them more customer service than you ever done before. Be that person of reason and build a relationship and strengthen relationships with your customers or potential customers or those that are stressing. How can you help them? Be that person that everyone else is not being because they're so panicked about what's going on. So what can you focus on to go over and above for those people that are already in your business? If you've got a team, how can you help your team? Are they stressed about things? What kind of voice of reason can you give for people in your team that are quietly struggling on the inside about how they're going to get paid next week? So seize the opportunity in being the leader that I talked about yesterday. Like, be that voice of reason for people and do not ignore it. Don't ignore it on your live videos. Don't ignore it if you're doing email marketing. Don't ignore it. Just carry on with your business as usual because people aren't stupid. This is a topic of conversation. Like I thought, talking about this again. But I thought Mike's words were really beneficial that I wanted to pass them on to you so you can pass them on to other people and start thinking about your business and who you can help and what opportunities are in front of you. Nurture relationships so when this is all over, they're happy to go into business with you because things have bounced back. Nurture those relationships now. Take the opportunity to build relationships now. Because out of every crisis comes massive opportunity. That's the way you need to think, guys. You are budding entrepreneurs. We are built for this crap. I was going to say something else then because it flowed off the tongue better, but I won't. Okay? So step up and show that leadership that I spoke to you about yesterday, okay? And increase the goodwill that you have with people around you, your friendships, your relationships, your leads, your prospects, whoever you do business with. Okay. Number 4, be a problem solver. So not only are you building the relationship and seizing the opportunity to help people in whatever way you can, what problems can you solve for people? How can you make people feel more secure and safe and protected and at ease a little bit in whatever ways, that you can? We need to pivot. Everyone needs to pivot at a time like this. You can't just do what you were doing before because the environment has changed massively. So really think at the forefront of your mind, what are people struggling with and what kind of solutions or that you can offer to people, whether that's verbally or physically or a random act of kindness or whatever it is. What can you do to be a problem solver? Ask people what they're struggling with and see if you can come up with solutions from them. Be the leader, seize the opportunity because you're the one they're going to remember that helped them through a time of crisis. Okay, so be a problem solver. That's his number 4. Number 5, if you can financially afford to do it, do not back off on your Facebook advertising. Now is a really good time to keep advertising if you can afford it, guys. There are a lot of people that will stop doing what they normally do because of this crisis and think, well, no one's got the money to buy. I'm just going to shut all my ads down. So the example that he used is Coca-Cola and Pepsi. And he said, you think of a time like this, and there's this wall, and we don't know what's on the other side of that wall. We've got no idea. None of us have got any idea what's on the other side of that wall. Okay, so you can't really plan for it or anything. You can have contingency plans, which is what this whole discussion sort of is about. So we don't know what's on the other side of that wall there. But let's say Coke and Pepsi, and Coke decides to seize the opportunity of what's on the other side of the wall, and Pepsi freak out. So Coca-Cola still does all its advertising. It ramps up its advertising. So everybody's saying Coca-Cola, 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 anticipating that there might be opportunity on the other side of the wall. Pepsi does nothing. So then everything sort of gets back to normal. Life goes back to normal. Which one of those two do you think people are going to lean more towards? It'll be Coke, 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 Coke that's in the front of everybody's mind, because they've still done all their advertising. They were in the front of people's minds. They may have even had ads that are addressing the concern that everybody's got, so they're listening. Do you understand that? So really think about, number 4, be a problem solver. And what problems can you solve for people with potentially an ad? Your solution, your business could be a solution to somebody's problem. So if you can afford it, don't back off on your advertising. Okay. Number 6, use this as a motivator. This is a personal one. Use this as a motivator to get your personal affairs in order. I know that might sound a little bit serious, but he's so right. I think about this, often. And every now and again, Paul and I sit down and sort of talk about these things. But I'm the one that has all the passwords and stuff like that to the bank accounts. And I'm the one that pays all the bills. And I'm just the business person in the house. He's my little farm boy that plays with cows. I love him dearly. He's just, the most laid back, precious, amazing husband a girl could have. But his business mind is the business side of things is my strong point. So what if something happened to me? And what Mike was saying is, what would happen if you went into hospital for a month and you were quarantined in a month, but bills still needed to be paid and things need to be taken care of? And, what if something actually happened to you? Would you be leaving your spouse in a situation that they don't know how to get into bank accounts? They don't know what the passwords are for certain things. They can't get any access to any money because you're the one that does all of that stuff. So it is a good reminder to check in and, get your personal house in order with those kind of things. Write down passwords and stuff like that and put them in a safe somewhere or whatever. So if something happens to you, that you're not leaving your family in a situation where they don't know what's going on or how to access, life insurance or anything like that. I know that sounds a bit extreme, guys, but even without a crisis at hand, I think that's actually a really good thing to do. And, I think about it often, we got money in different accounts and term deposits and stuff like that. And it's man, if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, Paul wouldn't know where anything is. I need to sit down with him again. It's important stuff, don't you think? So just get your personal affairs in order. Not because anything serious is going to happen, but just if you've got a husband or wife or kids and things like that and they need protecting, that you're not putting them in a position. Oh, Harley did it again. You're not putting them in a position where they don't know what's what and who's who and how to access things and all those kind of things. So I thought that was a really good piece of advice. Do you agree? Now, number 7, the last one. So what he was saying is, if you can see the writing on the wall and you are, what was his words, financially against the ropes, you are already struggling to pay the bills and you are in a position where you're a casual worker, or your partner's a casual worker, so either you or them are not going to have income sources that you have, don't bury your head in the sand. Get onto it now. Start putting contingency plans in place now. Start working out what you can cancel as far as expenses and subscriptions to Foxtel or whatever it is, whatever is not necessary. So he's saying if you know you're already financially against the ropes, is his word. He's get creative now and start planning for it so you don't end up in a point of desperation, because this will be likely for some people around the world. So we have a responsibility to our partners, our husbands, our wives, and our children to think forward in how this may play out. You need to accept that maybe your business might have a downturn. People don't want to buy into an opportunity at a time of unrest. And when people are fearful, they don't make decisions. But just know that. Have a high level of awareness around that. Make sense around it and accept it. But if you know that that downturn in anything that you do, or wages that you're not going to get, those kind of things are going to have a massive impact on your family, get creative. Sell something, cut out some expenses. Like, do what you need to do to plan for what might be coming, because we don't know what's on the other side of the wall. So it's important not to, not to just think it'll be okay. And it might be, guys, but none of us know. So to be irresponsible about that, you're not only maybe letting yourself down, you may have other people around you that rely on you, that if you crumble, then what happens then? You might be the backbone for a lot of people in your family. So it would be a good idea to get on top of all this kind of stuff, to make sure that you are protecting, those around you. And his final thought, on his training is basically what I said yesterday. Your experience with this is totally up to you. It's not and I say this often. I've said this for since day dot on my videos. It's not what's happening around you. It's how you guys handle it. It's not the circumstances of what's happening around it. It's how you think about it, how you react to it, the decisions that you make, the level head or the panic that you have. It's up to you guys, how the experience that you have with this crisis that we are at the moment. So entrepreneurs are built for this. There is massive opportunity out of every crisis. Which way are you looking? Are you looking at the chaos, or are you looking into, being the leader that you know you can be and stepping into the opportunity side of it? So you decide that. But just be very mindful of what your bias is, like the number one that I spoke about, your bias. Like, work that out first and then work out, your, planning for those three scenarios. And adjust your messaging and your marketing to fit what people are having pain with. So what we do as marketers is solve problems. So whatever you've got to offer, it solves a problem for somebody. So change your message in your marketing to highlight that you've got a solution to what people's problems are, but not in a tacky or spammy way, which some people in our industry are doing. And that's just so wrong, because it's just capitalizing on the less fortunate. But it doesn't mean that you can't be smart about this and, absolutely grasp the opportunity at hand of the crisis and helping people. Actually coming from a place of helping people with what you've got. Okay. And at the end of the day, he did say life will get back to normal. It's okay. Just don't give up. Don't give in. Don't buy in to the chaos. Keep a level head, calm, cool, collected, leader, positive messages, seizing the opportunity, planning for your own affairs, with your own personal finances and what that kind of is. But just, this is what entrepreneurs do, guys. So lead the way. Lead the way. Okay? What did you think of Mike's training? I think that's just very beneficial. Whatever you take for that, you will. But I thought those 7 points, for somebody who's been through it and absolutely not prepared for it and died in the ass and lost his business, to being through the 2008-9 crisis and actually made a hell of a lot of money through the opportunity. Not in a way that's spammy or, just in a very smart sort of way. So I thought that was worth sharing. I hope you agree. Gloria, I was more freaked out by 9/11 than this. As the truck driver, borders are closing and armed people running everywhere was scary. Was never so happy to get back in Canada. I bet, Gloria. Megan, I drove in to stop at the shops this morning. The car park was absolutely full and there were people everywhere. I immediately felt the social anxiety and everyone is feeling, so I decided just to keep driving and not go to the shops. We feed off other people's anxiety. It's important in these times to keep positive and be around positive people, even if that's online. I couldn't agree more, Megan. The only reason why toilet paper is off the shelves is because people are feeding off other people's fear. It was started by fear. There was never any indication that we were ever going to run out of toilet paper anywhere. But people's fear of running out created mass buying, and everybody's watching what everyone's doing. And I was like, well, I better get some too. It's like the tissues and the sanitizer and whatever. So, yeah, just totally get that, Megan, because we get caught up in it. It's like, oh, well, maybe I should do that too. Maybe I should stockpile. So, yeah, eBay was a big one. Largest garage sale with no garage. Yeah, good point, Gloria. Hey, Tammy, how are you? Hey, Heather, how you going? Monica, you work for Coca-Cola. That's funny. My dad worked for Coca-Cola for a long time. Great points. Good. Great tips. Awesome. Thank you, Helen and Mike Dillard. Great advice. I think that's brilliant training. Here. So we'll leave it at that. Oh, because we've got to get on our email bootcamp training in 10 minutes, guys, those of you in the coaching community. So, yeah, I thought that was worth sharing. So I'm glad that you guys got something out of it. So just think about that. And most importantly, what I would leave you with out of all of the all good 7 points is just being responsible about this for yourselves and your family, planning for yourself. Please don't leave yourself in a financial position where you're not preparing for contingencies. If you've got, if you know you're going to be financially against the wall, potentially because of this, and definitely lift others up. As Megan said, even if it's online, even if we can be a voice of reason and bandy together online, it's something that's better than nothing, because a lot of people around you don't have the brain space that you have. A lot of people around you do not have this entrepreneurial way of thinking where we need to rise above it. We know we need to rise above it and spread that message. So, rally around each other, give each other support, and give each other, support around you as guys. And just remember, there is massive opportunity in every crisis, but how you handle it and how you experience this is totally your call. This is not happening to you. This is your circumstances, and how you're reacting to it is completely your choice. So you choose wisely, guys. Okay, I will catch you same time tomorrow, guys. Those of you in my coaching community, I will see you in under 10 minutes. Okay, bye.